Hello, my name is Laura and welcome to my YouTube channel. My mom and I have a business. It's called The Asset. It originally started as The Asset Vintage and now we do some handmade items as well and thrifted items. So now we try to just cover it under the umbrella Asset, but sometimes it can be The Asset Handmade or The Asset Vintage. And we've been doing it for 5 years together. We originally did it in Massachusetts together, and we've rented brick and mortars and done some selling there, and then we did mostly online. And now I moved to Virginia and we're doing it mostly online and we try to stay connected. But I wanted to come on here and start sharing some of the behind the scenes, some of the process, and also give myself permission to play and start making items from my imagination. I do have another channel under my personal name, and that's for more of my personal projects for sewing, crochet, my whips, and kind of discovery through that. I also like to do perfume reviews and cooking. So I kind of have that over there, and here is meant to be just the things that I make and sell and the ideas that I have around that. So today I wanted to get into an idea that I've had for a while. I bought some fabric that I've been holding on to, and I had this idea to reflect on the times that I had growing up. In the summer, we would go to Maine and we would stay at this Franciscan monastery that was run by a group of Lithuanians because I'm Lithuanian. And we would meet the Lithuanians up there every summer, and it was just like super enjoyable. And we would take out this pastor that my grandma was very familiar with. She would come up with us as well, and we would take him out for dinner, and we would always get lobsters. We were like on the second floor of this restaurant, and it was kind of like a cabin, almost like these eaves of the building, and we would just eat lobster there every summer. And growing up, I didn't like lobster, but as I've gotten older, I've grown to like it. So I feel like this project is both a reflection on the trips that I used to take growing up and almost my heritage and the core of my family, which is like taking people out, treating them, enjoying food, spending quality time, and also visiting how we as people change. How I didn't like lobster and now I do. So it's almost to represent growth and becoming more you, or becoming different and changing. So I had an idea to make a lino cut of a lobster, and then I want to print it on some fabric and then make a vest top out of it. I have a vest top that I've made already. I definitely want to adjust the pattern. I feel like it's a little cropped for my liking, and eventually it might be something I would want to release. I've never made a pattern before, so this is kind of the beginning steps of that, revisiting the pattern, seeing how I like the fit, and then I would have to figure out how to grade and how to move on from that. But I would like to use some of that fabric to make a vest top, and then maybe make some other stuff because I'll have extra fabric. So maybe some cosmetic bags or a tote bag or stuff like that. So I think that's what I'm going to work on today. I'm going to work on sketching my design and transferring it to the linoleum and start carving and then see how far we get. So this is the fabric that I had bought for it. It's just like a red cotton. I think I got it from Joann's before they were closing. And originally I wanted like a cream, but then I figured if I used it for something, sometimes the seams can be see-through just because not all cream and white fabric is that thick. So I did want to go for something that felt coastal, and I could do the printing in either a white or a black or a navy and kind of still get that like Cape Cod, Maine coastal vibe. And this is the vest top that I want to recreate. I made a pattern for this, and it's reversible, or you can wear it back or front. Like you can wear it like this with the high neck, or you can wear it like this with the V-neck, and then you can flip it inside out as well. So it might even be fun to have like a different pattern on the inside, or a different animal, like a crustacean or something, shrimp, I don't know. I might play with that later, but I definitely want to revisit this. I love the side ties. I love that it's adjustable and it just kind of like flows as you walk. But I feel like it's a little cropped. I would like to revisit that, elongate it a little bit. Yeah, see, I feel like even with my crop shirt here, it's still short. So I feel like I could easily add another inch or two just for some longevity, because I almost feel like it's always going like that, and I'd like to shift that a little bit. I didn't do any darts or anything. I'm like, I don't know if I need to for this kind of like boxy fit. But I love the side ties. You can leave them short and in a bow, or you can leave them long and flowy. And I think this was my first one as well, and I just took the hem and like folded it over. I don't think I would do that this time. I think I would like do two pieces of fabric together and then turn them right sides out. So there's definitely some construction things that I would change, and then some shape things that I would change. But overall, I feel like it's a good place to start, but I can't even start there. I have to start with designing the stamp first. So let's do that. So this is kind of the inspiration that I'm going for, especially something like this. It's just, there's some texture there. I like the colors actually. I really like that pink, but I don't know. I don't have that, obviously. I'm going to be working with red. I haven't done lino cuts in a while. It used to be something that I did in high school, and I haven't really revisited. But yeah, again, here's that red with the white that I could try, or even like white on navy. Even this idea, I like that there were two that were layered on top of each other, so I could even see like some layering going on. I like this one too. I feel like it's just simple. I kind of want to go simple and shapely in texture. Definitely embracing the lino cut texture and go from there. So I have to find some reference photos. This is something too, I kind of like the elastics on there, because that's how you would get them, but then I also maybe want to celebrate them, that they're free and that I'm not eating them. As much as we love them and they're delicious, I do like them to be in the ocean as well. That's a good image. I like them when their claws are like a little askew. Like I don't want them to be perfectly like symmetrical. So I actually found this image from Alami or Alami, and I really liked it that it's almost at a 3/4 view, and then the antenna are like up versus back and down. And I feel like he looks alive. He looks happy and enjoyable. Yeah. So I think I'm going to use this for reference, and I'm going to do some sketching. So my lino cut is 8x10, and I actually think I would want it to be smaller than that. Like this is 8x10. Hello. This is 8x10, and I feel like I could even afford to go smaller, because I want this to be able to fit on the vest and have multiple prints of it fit on the vest. 7 by like 5. I don't know, we can try that. I think that's a good place to start for sketching. I can always make it bigger. I can scan it and make it bigger. So let's just dive in. Where your son don't even know his pops in the cyclic. So I think this is a good base to start with. I just gridded the image and then tried my best to translate it. And I think that's all I'm going to do for the drawing, because a lot more comes from when you transfer it onto here. So I think that's what I'm going to work on next. I'm going to draw on the back, or I'm not sure which direction I want it to face, because it has to be mirrored when you put it on here if you want it the right direction. So it can be facing right or left. I think I like the left facing, so I have to remember to mirror it. Wish me luck. I finished tracing it, and now I just have to shade it onto here and hope that it translates. This was always the most confusing part about printmaking, is you'd have to trace on the back side and then put graphite on this side and then trace again for it to still be mirrored. Like, it just gets so confusing after a certain point. I transferred it and it's super hard to see, but I'm gonna go over it with some Sharpie now.
Purple. I've had the Dr. Pepper Blackberry before. It's not purple. Ghost Welch's grapefruit. The drinks are looking good on day one. Uncrustables. Packaging, very purple. Although the sandwich, not so much. Those were...
So I finished outlining my lino cut. And I think that's as much as I'm gonna do drawing wise, because I feel like a lot of the strokes and texture comes after you start carving. So I think I'm actually gonna start carving. I'm gonna throw on a movie to help pass the time. But I'm excited. I feel like I've been thinking about this project for a month or two and just never really gave myself permission to do it. I feel like when you run a business, even if you're making all this stuff, I feel like you can still block yourself into opinions of what you should be doing and expectations of what you need to be working on. And it can be hard to give yourself permission to work on something else, pursue a different path, go in a new direction, you know, especially when the direction is already working, you know, making X item. I feel like it can be hard to branch out and give yourself permission to try something new, but also I find that the best businesses take risks and try something new and go in a different direction and try multiple things. So I'm excited to get into making more handmade clothing, because I do a lot of handmade home goods and accessories, but I want to make more clothing and printing my own fabric. I feel like that's super exciting. Possibly even like designing my own fabric could be cool down the line. Just giving myself permission to change. And obviously me and my mom run the business together, so I feel like obviously you want to run everything by your co-partner, but ultimately both of us are always open to change and encourage each other to try something new. That she's working on a lot of crochet items, I'm like, yeah, try that, try a different color, see what you think. Like, she's allowed to go in any direction she wants, and I feel like I can be hard on myself and not give myself that same grace and permission. So this is my first permission of giving myself a fun little project to try and play with, and something that relates personally to me, which sometimes I can feel disconnected from what I'm making as well. So I'm excited to work on this, even if it is labor intensive. So it's the next day and I actually got a lot done on this. I only have a little bit left on this side and to do the bottom. And I think the only thing that I'm worried about is how the details will translate onto fabric and whether they'll translate well. I mean, the only way to figure out is to try and to do it. So I'm just gonna keep going, and then I actually think I'm gonna glue this onto like a wood board so that it's like more stable for pressing and printing. And yeah, so I'm just gonna finish that and go from there.
espresso powder because it doesn't add any liquid to the cream, so it doesn't throw off my ratios. The cakes were shuffled in and out of the oven.
So I found a scrap piece of wood in my garage and I just cut it down, gave it a sand, and like rounded the edges. And then I'm gonna glue this guy on. And I just have some E6000. So this will be strong enough, but I also will have to wait, I think 24 hours or something. So I'll just glue this and then I'll be back tomorrow to keep going. I'm excited with how this is turning out. I hope the print goes well. So I'm back with my lobster. It's all done and glued onto this board. And I just marked with Sharpie like where the edge of the image ends on the board. So then I'm actually going to transfer those marks onto the back. So then when I'm pressing from above, I can try to center it where I want it. So first I'm going to just transfer those marks to the back and make myself a little grid so I can center things. And then I think I'm gonna test it just on some paper. I think I'm just gonna ink up my brayer and roll it on and press it onto just a piece of paper just to see how the print comes out before I hit the fabric, because that's always more permanent. So we'll see if I like it, if I want to change anything. And I want to make sure that none of the sides are really showing up too much, like where I had carved away. I want to make sure those aren't too tall or anything. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to test it. So I'm just transferring these lines here. I brought them onto the front side. So I'm just going to make some marks so then I can know where my image is. It's not going to look centered from the back, you know, like all the lines are at different heights, but that's because the image is not symmetrical. It's kind of moving at an angle anyways. So I just care more about being able to place it more than I care about it being centered of an image, but I want it centered on paper. So now I know where my lobster is. So I did find some glass. I had a piece that was broken from when I moved, and I'm just gonna use that. I'm really trying to be resourceful here. I would even like a palette knife, but I don't have that. So we're just gonna use this. Let's see how it goes. And now I'm just gonna load this guy up. Bring him to life a little bit. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, he's all loaded up. The more I worked with the ink and it started to dry a little, it started to be more resistant in a good way. He's all loaded up. He looks really cute. I feel like I should name him. But now I'm gonna print him and see how he comes out. Just have to make a little spot for our paper. And let's just do it. Okay, first try. I think I need more ink and more pressure. But we got a little something. All right, we'll try again. I don't know if this was enough, but we shall see. No, still not enough pressure. But we're getting better. All right, we'll keep going. I think this time I'm gonna try it facing up. I don't know if that's better. I don't know if it will work for my fabric application, but for my paper press, maybe this will work better. Better. And it could maybe not be translating or transferring because this is not ink meant for paper, it's meant for fabric. But this is pretty good. This is with going from above. So here's where we got with our paper print. I feel like it's pretty good. Like I said, the ink is not meant for paper. So I don't know how deep of a transfer I'm gonna get. And I think the next step is to just try it on some fabric because it's fabric ink. So we'll see how that translates. And then I have to play with whether it's gonna be face down or face up and how to get the pressure that I need. So we'll keep going, but I'm happy. I don't think I need to trim anything. I mean, maybe, I don't know if you can see, just a little around the edges might be a little high. But I also like a little texture so you know it's handmade too. So let's try some fabric. The moment of truth to see how it translated on fabric. I keep not getting enough pressure in the middle, but the rest looks pretty good. All right, we'll try again. No. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get ink on my hands, so I'm just gonna fold this over. Like now I have a lot more control, but I just don't know if this is what I want to be doing every time I want to print one. And I'm trying to cover a lot of fabric, so I don't know if this is the best. Maybe pressing something against it. I just feel like this might take more time than I anticipated. But if it leads to a better result, then maybe it's worth it. Better. I don't know, maybe I need to wash the ink off and start again. I'm back at the office. It's been about a week and I had to order some inks. I wanted to do different colors. I had been testing black, but on the red I thought it might be too harsh, so I got a burgundy and a navy and a few different colors. So I was waiting for those to arrive in the mail. And then I also got, people had recommended different things because there's ink for screen printing and then ink for block printing on fabric. And I heard that the block printing ink for fabric tended to leave the fabric more rough and stiff. Even though it was easier to use and you got a more opaque image, I felt like I wanted softness and movement in the fabric over a perfect image. So I am still sticking with screen printing ink, but I got different colors. I got, like I said, navy. I also got like a butter yellow. I got a white and like a burgundy purple maroon. And also people had said if you're using the screen printing ink to try like foam rollers. So you might get a bubbly texture on there, but I think it would stick better. So I'm gonna try some stuff here. I'm getting close to being ready to print on the fabric, so I'm excited. But I did end up getting one good print that I actually framed. I painted a frame and got it at the thrift store and it came with a mat. It's hard to see, but oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I feel like it came out really good. So I hung this up in my house already, so it's getting me motivated to work on this project. So yeah, I think I'm actually gonna do a swatch first. I wanna take a piece of that red fabric and try all the different colors of ink and see which one I wanna go with for the majority, and then we'll go from there. and see how printing the fabric goes. So I have this butter yellow, they call it corn silk. I just thought it was so beautiful, and I feel like it kind of gives that like summery vibe with the red. Whoa. I think you have to mix it up. Probably. They'll probably be like, shake well. No, but I probably will if I use it. It's actually a little greener than I thought, but we'll see. I do think it would be cool with the lobster. I wish I had like a mini print that I could like stamp it on, but I'm not going to add to my to-do list here. And then we have this, I think magenta, do they tell you? Burgundy. All right. The navy's pretty dark, but it looks nice. I even have white, so I actually might even try mixing like to make some opacity in there too. That could be something. I'll put a little white to try. And then I think that's black too. Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna try mixing some of this white with the blue. And then use just the other side with the burgundy. So this was something that I was worried about, that the burgundy would be too blue toned. I mean, I am using a blue brush to mix it, but you can tell in the ink that it's a cooler red and not a warmer red, and I don't really like that with this color fabric. Yeah, you can see here. I don't know how the lighting is, but the yellow is actually really nice. I don't think I'm going to go with the burgundy in an opaque way. I like it in the translucent way. It looks just darker. And then the blue, again, I don't think I would use them in an opaque way. I think I would just probably go with them in a translucent way. I definitely have enough fabric to do 2 colors, so I actually might. I think I definitely want to start with the white. I'm excited. I finished my first panel. I'm excited. This was a good first try. I don't feel like I wasted the fabric. I feel like it was a good attempt. I learned like what pressure I need and how much ink I need. And I like the white, but I definitely think I'm gonna like the yellow better. And then I think I am gonna do some more contrast. I think I am gonna do the burgundy or the navy. Something just to add a little more pop. But I have enough fabric to do that, but I'm not gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So, but I'm really proud of this. I have a whole panel done. It's enough to make 2 of the vest tops that I had in mind, so I'm excited. I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and then I'll do the other ones tomorrow. So it's been about a week or 2, and I finished the fabric. And I would say I'm moderately happy with it. It is my first time printing fabric, so I feel like I did pretty good. Some of the prints came out a little splotchy, but I'm just gonna try to embrace it. I feel like I can have an idea in my mind and then fixate on it being perfect, and then it never gets done. So I feel like if I'm moderatively satisfied, I feel like that's enough. But I did red and yellow, as you saw. I also did red and white, which came out pretty good. And then I had some leftover brown. I did some brown and black, which came out the worst, but I'll just use it for something. The black was hard. It was really hard to get a clear image. I feel like the white and the yellow were a little bit more opaque. And then I just have some leftover fabric here for the straps for my vest. But before I can even cut into this, I have to adjust my pattern. But I do think I'm going to stop the video there. I think we're already at, half an hour. So I think that's enough for now. I printed all the fabric and did my process with the inking and everything, and I felt like I learned a lot. And you'll have to stay tuned for part 2. That's where I'm gonna adjust my pattern. I'm gonna make a mock-up, and then I'm probably gonna cut into the real fabric and make some vests and see my idea come to fruition. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate if you stayed all the way. That means everything to me. This is my first YouTube video, so I'm really proud that I just got all the way through. I did something from start to finish, and that's what this YouTube journey is teaching me about kind of follow through and being a woman of my word and stuff. So if you like it, please give it a like or a thumbs up or a comment. I really appreciate anything. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next time for part 2.